What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel for some Sonic Superstars, a great new game for your handheld, be it the Steam Deck, ROG Ally, or maybe one of the other ones out there. I grew up on Sonic, Mario, and many others since I started gaming back in the 80s, and I want to take a look at this game and its setup here. Options are very bare bone, as you can see. Graphics as well, pretty simple. You're looking at the Steam Deck docked option here, and we're going to use 60 FPS and 120 FPS a bit in this video for both the Steam Deck and the Ally at high settings. Again, there's not a lot of tweaking to do there. We've got our story mode, battle mode, and time attack. Time attack's pretty self-explanatory, play and ranking. You're going to pick your character, pick what act you're going to go through, and work on getting your best run through there. And battle mode is kind of like end game, where you can play online against others or offline. So we're going to spend your in-game currency that you can earn and collect throughout playing the game to just buy customizations and change the appearance and look of your character for the online battle mode. So not something I've really jumped into much, just enough to check performance, and it was pretty good and identical to what I see here in story mode, which is where I pretty much spend all my time here with Sonic. So jumping in here, picking one of the 4 characters available right away, and starting with the Steam Deck, 60 FPS here. You'll see this game is actually quite easy to run, which isn't really surprising. However, I have seen some games like this just be oddly difficult to run, but not Sonic Superstars. This is running great here on the Steam Deck. And while I may be capped to 60 FPS for right now, the Steam Deck can run this game up to 120 FPS, and I'll show you that in handheld mode here in just a little bit too. But I concentrated on the 60 FPS because I figure most people are probably playing handheld, and it runs pretty flawlessly this way. You do see a dip to 59 from time to time, but that can happen with 60 FPS caps because, like I said, the deck can run this game well over 60 FPS up to 100 and 120 FPS. So even busy areas of the game, you're not going to burn through a ton of battery. You're going to run the game fairly easily. It looks fantastic on the Steam Deck, whether you be docked or in handheld mode. And I never really saw any flaws in its performance, never experienced any crashing while playing through the Proton layers here and everything. It's not a verified game yet at the time I'm making this video, but it is a yellow exclamation mark as playable, and I haven't experienced any trouble here. No matter where I jumped around in the game or what stages, it just ran really well. It felt really great to play here on the Steam Deck, so no complaints from me there, and really just enjoying the game in general. I've got about 3 hours or so into it, and definitely a Sonic game I'm enjoying. Now you can see here I went ahead and took the frame rate up to 120 FPS on the Steam Deck, and you can see it is able to do that. Now it'll fluctuate depending on what stage you're on. You could go down into the 90s pretty easily and back up, and while this isn't super useful in handheld mode like this with the 60 Hz screen, it is great if you're someone playing docked or 1080p and you're wanting to get 1080p 60 or 720p 120 or something like that. Over here, 60 Hertz, I think this is the best way, 60 FPS capped when you're playing handheld, and you get a little bit more battery out of it. But the game's running fantastic on the Steam Deck, so I was really happy to see that. So moving over here to the Ally, we'll be at 1080p 120 FPS to kick things off here, and getting into performance at 25 watts. And we'll also take a look at 15, because I figure with the Steam Deck running 15 watts, 720p up to 120 FPS, that we could probably get pretty good performance here, and we do on the Ally. This also looks fantastic on the Ally screen, by the way, at 1080p 120 when you're holding handheld. But yeah, the game runs really well. It's going to fluctuate on me from 100 to 120 FPS depending at 25 watts, and at 15 watts I can still maintain 120 FPS or down into the 90s. It will dip more often at 15, which is to be expected, even though we're not like super taxing the system. It just does lose some frame rate when we do that, but you can easily still run this game beautifully, especially with VRR on the Ally. This just feels super smooth to play and looks gorgeous as well. Back to 25 watts, you won't dip quite as low, and it'll stay more near the 120. Again, I think maybe between drivers and game updates and things like that, it should basically be able to just lock in 120 here at 1080p. And 15 watts on some other maps here, other acts. Jumped around to different areas of the game, and performance was pretty consistent. At 15 watts, I basically 90 to 120 depending on where I'm at, 90 to 105. At 25 watts, I could pretty much stay over 100 and more closer to that 120 mark. It just didn't really matter where I went. That's kind of what I got, which is just excellent performance. It's not a hard to run game, so it's kind of what I expected. Even in some of these other areas at 25 watts where it comes down lower, I think there's some improvement that can be made there, but again, in handheld mode playing in VRR, this was a fantastic experience. Even docked without the active VRR, this worked really great for recording, and those other areas of the game that you get into, getting these coins or emeralds or whatever, ran a really nice 120 as well at 25 watts. It would get down to about 105, 110 if I was at 15 watts in there. So a really good performance here on the Ally as well. We'll take a look at some handheld here just so you can see it on the Ally screen. And on the Steam Deck, it is unfortunate that we get the bars at the top and bottom even at 800p, so they don't really have the 1610 support yet for Sonic on there. But with our 16:9 screen here at 1080p with VRR, I will say that Sonic just feels amazing, and I do prefer it here on the Ally for that. But the performance on the Steam Deck was fantastic. It looks great, and it plays great there too. So no matter where you're going to choose to play this game, performance seems to be really, really good. I'm really enjoying Sonic Superstars. It's definitely the kind of 2D Sonic game I would be into, one I've been looking forward to, and I've really enjoyed it so far. All right, guys, thanks a lot for coming and check out the video. As always, I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.